Hello. This is my first YouTube video with commentary. It's pretty exciting. I know. I know. You're all here on the ground floor of my debut. So anyways, deck I'm going to be playing today, Renolock, one of my favorite decks. Actually my class with the most wins, which isn't that much. It's like 400 wins, I think. I'm actually really close to that golden arrow. And yeah, it's got a lot going for it, but also nothing going for it at the same time. So it's kind of a pile in the sense that you don't really have a win con in Warlock, so you just run really good value cards and a lot of disruption cards. You can see I've got like Altar of Fire, destroys the top cards of both people's decks. Ideally, you can hit your opponent's combo pieces, and since your deck doesn't have any win con, it doesn't really do anything to you. Same with Demonic Project. Each player transforms a random minion. If they have really good minions, it's really good. You know, if one of my minions gets hit, whatever. Destroy the top card of your deck. So it's a lot of deck destruction, basically. Symphony of Sins, I don't know if it shows it, but one of the symphonies that you can get, yes, Movement of Envy, removes the top 6 cards from your opponent's deck, also really good. So, you know, we're already at like 10 cards removed from our opponent's deck if we draw all of that. Then you have Ticketus, Battle Cry, remove the top 5 cards from your deck, corrupt your opponent's deck instead. So he basically removes 5 cards from your opponent's deck again. And since it's a Battle Cry, we won Brann, so that you can do it twice, and yeah, you just blow up your opponent's deck. And since we have Renathal, we're a 40 card deck, so we have more cards in general in the first place, so that's the win con basically. And then you run Mutinous, the E minions, you got Dirty Rat, Theatar, all the regular jank that you need. Well, you don't need, but that you can run. We even have Kerrigan in here, because Kerrigan is a really good card and is going to get nerfed March 18th. But until then, we will keep using her. Sargeras is also pretty important for this deck. He's like, if there was a win con for the deck, it'd be Sargeras. He opens a portal that lasts forever, and you always pick like the +2 health and taunt, so it just summons infinite taunt minions, and it's really strong, especially against like a board-based deck. They just can't really handle that most of the time. And yeah, that's about it. So it's really good into aggro most of the time, actually. But yeah, let's get into some games and see what happens. We're getting into our first game here against CJFX on Priest. I actually know this guy, I've played against him a lot. They always play Shadow Aggro Priest pretty much, so I'm gonna mulligan assuming it's an aggro deck. Defile is really good, obviously. Spawning Pool's decent. Yeah, I'll keep Spawning Pool. Spawning Pool's kinda nice because it gives you a 1 health minion for your Defile. So sometimes Shadow Aggro Priest will lead with Ship's Chirurgeon, which buffs all their minions' health by 1, and they can actually like play around Defile pretty well. 30 card Shadow Priest, yeah. We kind of knew that. It's also a really nice turn 1 start. You just slam it down, click it, get it going. The rush is also really nice. It's just a really versatile card, to be honest. And we do run Nydus Worm in here too, so we can... That's not Nydus Worm. Oh, it's not showing up. Anyways, we run Tutors for that as well. But it doesn't matter here, he doesn't have the Ship's Trojan, so we can just defile this all the way. Shadow Aggro Priest isn't too scary, especially for this deck, because to be honest, I kind of built it for Shadow Aggro Priest, like it's filled with anti-aggro cards. So we just have a lot of healing, like Touch is going to heal us 3 here. And really, as long as you keep them off the board, they don't really do much, if that makes sense. They only have so much damage from hand. Most of their damage relies on them getting in early on your face with all their early game minions. But since his board, like he didn't have any like actual health on his board, it was kind of whatever. So yeah. Because even if they draw like literally every damage card in their deck, they can't really get to 40 damage easily. Like the 2 Acupunctures is 8, the 2 Mind Blasts are 10. It's like 18 damage. Mind Seers are 6 each. Or 6 total, I mean. So yeah. Also in this matchup, I try not to tap too much because you take a lot of damage. Obviously you should tap if you don't have any good cards, but I mean if you look at our hand, like we've got pretty much all the anti-aggro cards we need, and then tapping is just like a greed you don't really need to take. Because I mean, yeah, they're kind of already out of steam. Also in this matchup, since it is just like a pure aggro deck and all you need to do is survive like those first 5 turns, you can just send out Brann, you know, like here. Maybe not here actually. No, yeah, here. You just try to always keep something on board to help you trade. It gets a lot easier to deal with aggro decks if you actually have minions on board, like some kind of tempo of your own. And Brann is also a pretty scary card, so they might feel pressured into like hero powering him. Okay, well, they're smart, but sometimes people will feel pressured into dealing with the Brann. And that like saves you 4 health basically. So. But yeah, here I'm gonna rip the Altar of Fire because they're already running low on cards and we might hit some burn damage, which we don't, but whatever. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna use this. That's kind of a good situation for that, you heal 4. And now I am gonna start tapping because while I do have enough anti-aggro, I don't really have any actual, like, things to hit him in the face with, you know? Like, he's only at 12 health. This does 3 damage face. That's the other thing about Shadow Priest. They lose a lot of health really fast with their acupunctures. So always keep an eye out on their total health total. But yeah, this game is pretty much in the bag. What's the best way to clear this? If we want to be really funny, we can play Uncorrupted Ticketus to destroy 10 cards from our deck. Just because the 10 cards don't actually matter. And the 6 mana 8/8 is pretty good, you know? So you see, like, he feels pressured into trading into the Brann. Even though he didn't really have to there. Although maybe he did because he was going to die, but... yeah. And you can see, like, I still have like a billion healing left over if I needed it. So this deck is really good at aggro. That's like your ideal matchup, especially Shadow Aggro Priest. I kind of built the deck with the intention of crushing Shadow Aggro Priest. Because especially on my Climb to Legend, I feel like that's the most popular deck right now. And I very rarely lose to Shadow Aggro Priest with this deck. They need to have like Ship's Chirurgeon, I need to draw poorly, and then they also have like double Void Touch Detentment. You know, I can't think of any deck that beats that opening, really. But yeah. Clean first win. Okay, going into the second game here. Rogue is always kind of scary because you never really know if it's just regular Pirate Rogue or if it's some kind of Draka Rogue, Alexstrasza Rogue, OTK Rogue, or if it's just Pirate Rogue with Hook Tusk, so regardless, Zephrys is like an insta-keep always. There's never a time you don't want Zephrys. He's like the best card in the deck, in most Reno decks. So we'll keep him. Demonic Project is great here if it is the aforementioned combo deck. Which 30 cards, probably not Hook Tusk Rogue if it's only 30 cards, but we'll see. They didn't get a coin off that, which makes me think it's Draka Rogue. But let's see, let's wait a little bit longer. There is no way I'm playing against a Mill Rogue. Huh. Interesting. Well, I guess we're just gonna try to beat him up then. Mill Rogue isn't that scary, to be honest. You just can't let them... You can't do nothing. You just have to start hitting them in the face. So I'm just gonna try to develop as many minions as I can. Because all they really plan on doing is playing a bunch of Cold Light Oracles, which is gonna draw me a lot of cards, but it's not like they're gonna have a big board, you know, like those are only 2/2s. E.T.C is great because I do have Kill Jaden, which if I do get to play Kill Jaden, he can't mill me anymore. So that's nice. And also E.T.C is just a 4/4. Since this is the second Oracle, I think I am going to trade, because I don't really know how he plans on getting more. Unless he knows something I don't. Or he's not Mill Rogue, and he's secretly just like a draw combo rogue. Which, if that is the case, he fooled me, you know. What is this guy doing? Interesting. Okay, it doesn't look like Milrogue anymore. But he's doing something suspicious. He's drawing a lot.
How gluttonous are you?
I'm gonna look for destroy 6 cards, just to see if we can get an idea of what he's playing. He's playing Quasar Rogue, and we just destroyed both Quasars.
I can't hear you.
Does that mean he loses? How does he win without Quasars? Quasars? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. He's still going. I'm scared. I don't know what's happening. And he runs Garrots. Surely it's not like Mechathune Rogue. Okay. That's a really bad minion, like a demon from the get. Because it hurts him to play it.
Shaking a stud.
I'm gonna look for damage.
Alakazam!
My hand is full.
Okay, that's both Swift Scale Tricksters gone.
Smart moves.
Okay.
I concede.
I don't really know what that was, but you can kind of see how we have a lot of interaction for these combo decks. With the destroying cards from their deck, taking cards out of their hands. We felt pretty safe. Okay, going into the third game here. Paladin is really scary. All the Paladin decks are really good. And it's either a really slow Reno Paladin or a really fast Libram Paladin. So I'm gonna mulligan like it's Libram Paladin just because if it is Reno Paladin, we can still try to find things, like we have more time in that matchup. But if it's a Libram Paladin, you really have to go as fast as possible. And to be honest, if it's Libram Paladin, we probably lose. Okay, Crystology doesn't tell us anything. If it's Libram Paladin too, it's actually pretty good to Dirty Rat early. The worst thing you can hit is like the 5/5, but...
I cannot wait to
Oh my god, okay. So it's Libram Paladin, and he had a great start. That's a good hit.
These texts! I cannot read them.
Okay, he doesn't have the weapon on 3, which is good for us. Assuming he triggers the spell burst. He doesn't. Interesting. I'm gonna kill that then. Libram Paladin, you try to keep them off board. At a certain point, it gets really hard, but you try your best to make it so that they don't have buff targets, because it's like a minion buff based deck. So you try to keep their board as clear as possible. And then they'll have one turn, normally it's turn 4, but he drew pretty poorly. Where they'll just like flood the board. And then you like really have to clear the board at that point. Because otherwise, they can Cold Feet Rebuke you, which just makes everything in your hand cost 5 more. And then you lose. And that's really good against this deck especially, because we don't really have any ramp or any way to deal with that. So we do kind of just lose when that happens. Here... we can Dark Skies. If it hits really well, it might set up a Defile. Yeah. And that's really just pure talent. I mean, if you wanted to set up a Defile, it just will. You know, that's how you use that card. That's actually really lucky. I'm so surprised that worked. But that's good. I mean, those are the kind of things you need, you know, to win this matchup. Okay, he did draw the weapon now. So it's going to get a lot harder really soon. I'm going to get E.T.C for Plague of Flames, because that is really good here. I'm going to play these first, just because, like I said, they either play your minions cost 5 more or your spells cost 5 more.
The sun shines for me.
So as many cards as you can play in advance to play around that, the better. Vanessa also needs to die like instantly. That card is crazy strong. The nice thing is he's not playing around Plague of Flames here. This is actually a really good Plague. The bad thing is he has 4 Librams of Divinity now, which is really scary. But we are at turn 6, so we've lived quite a while. Health doesn't really matter in this matchup. You can tap as much as you want because at the end of the day they're probably gonna just hit you for either a million damage or none, you know? Pretty much always alter fire when you draw it. Unless you're like already low on cards, but it's good. As you can see, we hit glow sticks. That's kind of their only damage from hand they have, so that's nice to know. And yeah. Normally they draw through their whole deck anyways, so you may as well just give them 3 less cards. Here though, we feel pretty safe, in the sense that if he plays Rebuke, we can play this minion, and if he plays Cold Feet, we can play this spell. So we'll see. If he does neither, then we can just Shadow and Ruin with Zephrys. But I would assume he's playing something here if he's developing this much. Especially since he's rank 4. It'd be weird if he misplayed that much. Although that's every spell in his hand actually. Huh. I guess he didn't draw any. Okay. So yeah, we can just Zephrys, Shadow Word Ruin, get rid of this whole board. He does still have 4 Librams of Divinity, so it's not like he's... It's not like he still has a chance. Or he doesn't have a chance, he still does have a chance. But it's definitely favored for us. Okay. Got no minions left for that. He's got the Living Dragon Breath technology for the mage matchup. That's really cute actually, I like that a lot. It doesn't really help him here. We don't run any freezes in this deck. And since he's playing so many cards, our Ceaseless is also 0 already. So I mean we're like ultra safe. Yeah. So at this point, just so that the game doesn't go on too long, we're just gonna start hitting him in the face. Ceaseless is really strong. Because it's a 15-15. That costs 0. So, and he has no way of stopping this unless he draws a taunt. And even if he draws a taunt, we can remove it probably. So yeah, that's the game. That was great. Like I said, I think he had a lot of outs. I think he drew pretty poorly, but we played it well as well. We played to our outs. It worked out. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the deck. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I'm really just doing this as a hobby, and any feedback would be appreciated. I'm gonna try to get a better mic. I know mine does max out sometimes when I breathe into it, or when I laugh, for instance. But yeah, this deck has done really well. It's what got me into Legend in the first place. If you really want a deck that just like destroys Shadow Aggro Priest, this is the list for you. I think it's the best Reno deck into aggro, I'd say. Not Libram Paladin, to be clear. I still think Reno Druid does better into Libram Paladin, but for the most part, it's a really varied deck. You feel like you have a good matchup into most games, and it feels pretty skill expressive too, just because you have a lot of choices to make. When to use Altar of Fire, when to use your other cards that are disruption based. I really like it. Final considerations, just so that you guys know. I know some people run, not Symphony, Rin. Some people do run Rin Orchestrator of Doom just as more hand disruption, which is good. I think it's good, to be honest. It's not essential, and it's a legendary that's only run in this deck, so that's why I haven't crafted it. It seems pretty niche, and I just don't have enough dust to spare really to craft that. Other than that though, I think this list is pretty good. It tries not to be too greedy. The Sea Devil Stinger package is nice. You definitely don't need it, but I like having like ways to cheat out Mutinous. And if you do play Mutinous with Sea Devil, it does actually corrupt the Ticketus, which is also really cute. So you can corrupt the Ticketus on turn 4, play it on turn 6. You can also Brann into Sea Devil into Mutinous for like a 7 mana double Brann trigger. So I like it. Also, turn 4 Gigafin sometimes just wins you the game. I've had many games against Hostage Mage where I just tempo that out super early and it ends it. So, really fun deck. Highly recommend. Um, Obviously not a beginner friendly deck because it's very dust heavy. But if you have the cards, give it a try. It might just get you to legend if you're not already there, or get you higher. I mean, I won all the games I played today, so yeah. Thanks again. See you guys in the next video.